Well, let's get some more legal analysis now, and we can speak to law professor Josh Blackman, who's also an author and an expert on constitutional law and the US Supreme Court. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Professor.
Thank
What
you.
makes this Texas law, Senate Bill 8, unprecedented is that it empowers private citizens to play a part in enforcing it. Have you ever seen anything like this?
There's no law like this that gives private citizens the complete power to enforce law. This law is really novel and creative.
Okay, and is it workable?
It's going to be a mess. At this point, every Texas citizen is now empowered to go to court and file a suit against an abortion clinic, people who fund abortions, people who provide logistical support. It's a very broad law.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to imagine how it could be enforced. I mean, just trying to imagine how you would gather a dossier of evidence to present as proof if a citizen decided to sue an individual or an organization.
That's right. To be clear, you can't sue women seeking abortions, but you can sue those who provide them. This might be based on first-hand information. Maybe a person knows that someone in his family obtained an abortion at some point, and they can sue the clinic. There are many ways in which this could work.
And we've heard President Biden saying that he's going to sue with regards to this law. But and I think you raised this question in a tweet you put out a little earlier on. I mean, sue who?
Yeah, there's no one to sue. It's impossible to sue every man, woman, and child in Texas. It simply can't be done. So he's going to have to try to sue individuals who might bring a lawsuit, but then 5 other people can bring a lawsuit as well. It's a very crafty law that's designed to avoid this sort of a challenge in court.
Crafty, novel. These are just some of the ways you've described this law already. And I'm just thinking ahead. I mean, is this technique likely to be copied, do you think, by other states in other parts of the United States, perhaps under totally different circumstances, not just in the context of abortion law?
I do. So to give an example, California could pass a law allowing citizens to sue gun stores, for example. This can be available in many different contexts, I think. But the trick is, in our legal system, courts don't have the power to do justice. They have the power to decide specific cases with specific parties. And so long as there are more parties who can sue, there's more litigation to happen. You can't, strike down law entirely. That's kind of a myth that people say. Courts don't strike down laws. They stop specific people from enforcing specific laws against other people. It's a very narrowed power.
Yeah, this kind of short circuits the traditional logic, as far as I can understand at any rate. I mean, is that it then? Do you think the Supreme Court and its decision in the early hours of this morning, our time at any rate, can't be challenged any further?
Well, the law will get review in court, for example. So let's say John Doe sues an abortion clinic in Texas. Then Texas clinic says, you can't sue me. This law is unconstitutional. At that point, you would see that this law can't be enforced. But even then, that one case would only bind John Doe and the clinic in Texas. It wouldn't bind every other Texas citizen. So really, you have death by 1,000 cuts. You can have every subsequent citizen bringing a lawsuit.
Well, doesn't that therefore mean that it's totally unworkable and it will create an absolute legislative headache for the very people that voted for it?
Oh, I don't think it'll create a headache for the voters. I think it'll create a headache for the abortion clinics. I think the effect of this will basically make it almost impossible for these clinics to stay open.
Okay, and we've also heard from President Biden saying this decision undermines and violates Roe versus Wade and violates the Constitution. Do you see Roe v. Wade being sort of chipped away at from here on after and perhaps therefore in jeopardy?
Well, let me clarify one point. This law can't overrule Roe v. Wade. If someone brings a lawsuit tomorrow against a clinic that performs a 6-week abortion, the suit will be dismissed because under federal constitutional law, you have a right to abortion at 6 weeks. This law anticipates that the Supreme Court will overrule Roe in the future. If the Supreme Court does overrule Roe in the future, the 6-week limit comes into effect. But at present, the 6-week limit has really no meaning. It's the line of viability, which is where the courts draw the line.
Okay, and just lastly, I mean, let me put you on the spot here, Professor. Do you think this is gonna work? Is this gonna hold, or do you think the senators in Texas are going to have to backpedal on this one?
Well, there's always political pressure, right? And if there's political pressure, they can repeal the law. But I think at present it should hold for a while.
Okay, well, thank you very much for speaking to us. Professor Josh Blackman, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.